If you're out on the road, the last thing you want is a flat tire. But if you get one, hopefully, among other things, you have a decent tire pump with you. Let's take a look at the one I use and see how it works. So what I have here is the bike pump I use on all my rides. It's from a company called Pro Bike Tool. Now, it looks like a regular old pump, but what's kind of cool is on the inside you have this attachment that screws in and hides away until you really need it. And what it does is it allows you to use it on whichever kind of valve you're dealing with. So on this side is a Presta valve, on this side is a Schrader valve. So if you're on a regular road bike, you're probably going to use the Presta valve. So to do that, you screw it into the end, making sure that the Presta valve is the one sticking out on the end here. And now you're ready to go. Pump it up. Okay, two things of note. First, this thing has in a built-in pressure gauge right here. So as your tire fills up, this will expose how much you've been using. This right here is just gaffer tape. Sometimes I need tape on the ride, so this seems like a good place to store just a little bit. Let's go see how long it takes to pump this tire up using this tool right here. All right, let's give this pump a test. First things first, we gotta let all the air out of the tire. Okay, flat. Okay, now to attach it to the stem, there's no screws or anything on here. So what I like to do is I push it down and I give it a little twist, just to kind of push it down a little further. And again, there's no threads here. I'm just kind of using pressure to push it down with. All right, so let's start pumping this up. Okay, we're at 50. It's still pretty squishy. I wouldn't ride on this. Okay, that's 100. All right, now it's starting to feel pretty firm, like you could actually ride on this. Looks like we're at about 20 psi, maybe 30. So let's go another 25 pumps. Now we're at probably about 50 psi. Now it's starting to feel pretty firm, like I'd feel pretty confident riding on this. I don't know if I'd spend a whole day on this, but definitely could get you home, or at least to a better pump. The gauge is saying about 50 psi. The minimum psi on this tire is marked at 65 psi, so we're like really close to the minimum, which is good. So, all right, so we're at 125 pumps so far. Let's try, I don't know, 25 more. Okay, that's 25 more, so we're at about 150 pumps. We haven't really been at it for very long. And it looks like we're kind of getting close to 60 psi. And I'll show you what the gauge looks like. Here's a close-up view, or as close as I can get. You can see that it's just above the 50 psi mark. It's probably a rough estimate. I have another tire gauge, tire pressure gauge that we can use to see how accurate it is. All right, so we said a little over 50 psi, maybe close to 60. To take this off, you just kind of twist and pull. There's no real science to it. Let's see. Let's see what this reads. Between 55 and 60. So that's pretty good. I would say that you could definitely ride this thing to another stop with a better pump if you had to. And again, depending on how much you weigh, maybe this is just fine. For me, I weigh about 200 pounds, so this is probably a little too low, but it'll definitely get me to where I need to be to get a little more air in this tire. Okay, so I think this tire pump will work just fine. Okay, let's just put this thing away. You just unscrew it, put it down in here, screw it to tighten it down, put the cap on this side, put the cap on this side, Here's the mount for the pump. They sell them separately, so you can buy as many as you want. I have one on every bike. That way I can just move the pump from one bike to the next. So it just clips in, put a little band on here, hold it in place, and it's good to go. I think the pump works pretty well, and hides away pretty nicely on the bike. Doesn't take up much room and is easy to use. So I don't know, I think I like it. I think I'm gonna keep it. Well, that's about it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.